have as your next on the list? Number 8.
I have Inside Out too.
Okay, so now we could talk about this, Ricky Flex. This is an important movie. This is a really important movie. June 14th. It's important for a number of reasons. We just talked about the box office struggles. This is a Pixar movie, and it's a big movie for Pixar, returning to its roots. It's more favorable movies and ones that have been widely acclaimed and have been considered classics. This is the age of Pixar, that is this new era that's coming, the return of nostalgia, and in this era where we're getting Toy Story 5. And we heard just talked about our latest episode, rumors of new Incredibles movies, new movies in the world of Finding Nemo. We're getting an Inside Out spin-off series. Ricky Flex, this could help usher in a new era, a familiar era, and also could help pick up the overall box office. Do you think this is a really important movie? Do you think, am I overstating it?
I don't want to say it's make or break because the studio
Whoa.
is going to live on. But I will say this is like Pixar is on the hot seat. I went on a huge rant last pod. Talked about like the hierarchy, them cutting costs, them cutting jobs in the animation department after them working like dogs over the past 3 years, like run thin with animation projects and Disney Plus ramp ups. So I won't try to do too much of repetitiveness here. All I'll say is that yes, they're gonna dive deeper into IP. They're going to rely on that IP going forward. You just talked about some of those examples. They need to get it right? Because Pixar, they stand on their creativity. They stand on being inventive, innovation, not only in like storytelling, but also in technology. First and foremost, that's what they were freaking founded on as a technological company. So they have to step it up here. And if they're going to go on past IP, then you know what? You better, like, if you're relying on that past IP, you better take it up another notch, right? And they haven't really done well since 2017's Coco. It's been 7 years. What have you done for me lately? We've been saying that lately a lot, but I think Pixar is the biggest hot seat with that for studio-wise, along with something else that will be on our list coming up. So Pixar, they have an original movie coming out next year. If they want to have any sort of box office success for that one, this needs to at least be good and go and be like successful at the box office, I would say. So hot seats Pixar is not a make or break, but if this isn't right, and then Emilio next year, I think that's what it's called, the original isn't good next year, then it might be make or break for the studio going forward after that in 2025.
I think it is the right move to go back to some of the classic films and ones that should have got sequels that never got sequels. I think this is okay. And people hate that. You know, they want new original ideas, but look where that's gotten Pixar over the last 7 years. We need to get back to making bangers. We need to get back to movies that will drive people to go see them in theaters, familiar characters, and Inside Out too. I think also, like, I watched that clip of Ao Edebiri from The Bear, like her as Envy. Holy shit, that looks like an amazing performance. I think they gave away so much. I feel like they said every single line she has in the movie. But you know what? I think that is going to be great. I think it's going to be great.
For the record, I think this movie's going to be really good.
I do want to also say Pixar sequels. Can we talk about this really quick? So Toy Story 2. I love Toy Story 2.
Amazing.
Check. Like, that was a good one. Let's look at the other ones. Cars 2. Not very good.
Tough.
What other sequels do we have to look back on for Pixar? Is there really that many? Incredibles 2. Also, I would say a disappointment after the long wait we had to get that film.
It wasn't a Cars 2 level, but it definitely did not live up to expectations.
What other sequels have we had for Pixar?
We had Monsters University, which was like a prequel.
Honestly, it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, we had Toy Story 3 and 4. You had Cars 3. So you have like sequels on those sequels.
The same franchise, though.
Right.
You know?
So I think that's it.
So I don't think we should totally close off like Inside Out 2 and saying, "Oh my God, look what we're doing here." Toy Story, you have a different argument because they're making a fifth one, and you thought like they had a great ending with the third film. You know, this is where they're milking it a little bit. Like Inside Out 2, like the kids growing up and going through different feelings, emotions. I feel like it's deserved to have a sequel. You know, this is the time to make it. And I'm also curious, as before we move on, like, are kids going to embrace this movie? You know, maybe those kids who were younger when they watched Inside Out back in what, 2016, 2015? Those kids have grown up a little bit. Maybe they can connect more with and grow up literally with this main character as she's going through the same type of emotions that those kids are. I don't think it's a bad idea. I saw Inside Out when I was 20 years old, and I loved it. And I obviously wasn't the age of this kid. I feel like I'll just be able to get it and I understand what they're doing there. And I've been through like these type of things, just like the audience has been through these types of things that the character will be like having like experiencing in this film. So I'm not really concerned that it's not going to hit. I think it actually is a pretty safe bet that it's going to exceed at the box office.
I'm confident in this as like from a quality standpoint. The box office, I think it's still going to make over 800 million, similar to the first one. And
the first one made $800 million.
Yeah, worldwide.
Holy shit! It's this movie. I take it back. Is this movie not make 800 million? What?
I don't know how much China was in play there, so we'll see. I think this will be
so much, bro.
That is a lot of money, man. And I would just say, critically, I think this is going to be a success. But the box office tracking right now for opening weekend, I know we're 2 weeks away, but right now it's under 100 million. So that is significantly lower than like you would say 6 months ago where you would expect it. So I am a little nervous for the box office wise and what people are going to actually see this movie. But at the same time, I think just what's most important is that is it actually going to be good? Because Pixar, what they haven't been doing lately is making bangers again. And I think that's what we need to get back to, where that reliability and consistency with Pixar, first and foremost, then we can kind of work out the kinks at the box office once you get that credibility back.
Inside Out is such a great concept, though. It's so amazing. And it opens up so many doors for creativity and humor. Incredibles 2 made 1.2 billion, Ricky Flicks. Toy Story 4 made 1.07 billion. Toy Story 3, 1.06 billion. Finding Dory made over $1 billion. You know what we talked about last? We talked about this last episode, the idea of earning like the $1 billion moniker. There should definitely be asterisks next to that. We actually did an episode way back when, and we did like worst movies that made $1 billion.
Yep, that was an episode and a half. Also, Wonderland, I remember picking that.
Finding Nemo. I can't believe these numbers. I have not looked at all these movies before. Finding Nemo 2003. Ricky Flex, you know how much money that movie made?
I would guess 758.
$940 million. The movie's a freaking phenomenon, Ricky Flex. Inside Out is the 6th highest grossing movie in Pixar history at $858 million. That is such a lofty bar. I'm taking the under. I'm sorry. I think it's going to be good, but that seems so insurmountable at this time where Pixar is not even like consistently releasing movies and embracing theater experiences. I can't see this movie making $800 million.
It was like back in like 2017 Coco and previously, literally besides The Good Dinosaur, every single movie, it's like every time Pixar announced that they were doing a movie, it's like you have to go see it. You have to go see it in theaters. Like it had that moniker to it. Pixar, see it first opening weekend, or see it like as soon as you can in the theaters before you have to wait to see it streaming or whatever, VOD. Now it's like, do we trust them? Disney Plus is here now. You already released a bunch of movies on Disney Plus. I don't have to see it in theaters. So I am leaning on the under for sure. It's just like they kind of did it to themselves.
This is such a test. This is a test for Pixar. Dude, the stakes have been raised.
They're the hot seat. It's not make or break, but it's as close to that without being that.
It shows you where we're at. Wow, Ricky.